Not too long ago, we examined the Zeekr mix and witnessed an absolute masterclass in structural manipulation. By fusing the B-pillar directly into the doors, Chinese engineers essentially turned a family minivan into a rolling vault, fundamentally altering the way side impact forces are distributed. Shortly after, we analyzed the Xpeng G6, where crash test physics seemed to break entirely. We observed a vehicle redefining how kinetic energy is routed through a frame, achieving safety ratings that baffled Western regulatory bodies. We assumed, logically, that this was the absolute ceiling of automotive structural engineering for this decade. We were entirely wrong. The innovations we saw in the Zeekr mix and the Xpeng G6 were merely the foundational steps for a much more violent disruption. While Western manufacturers are still obsessing over how to cram more lithium chemistry into heavy, bolted-on metal boxes underneath their cars, the Chinese engineering sector has quietly executed a complete structural coup. They didn't just improve the battery pack, they completely eradicated it. Welcome to the era of cell-to-chassis, or CTC architecture. This is not a slight optimization or a minor weight-saving measure. This is a fundamental rewriting of how a vehicle absorbs impact, manages thermal dynamics, and translates torque to the asphalt. For the last decade, the global industry standard has been the skateboard platform. You build a heavy, armored battery pack, and you drop a car body on top of it. Today, we are going to perform a forensic breakdown of why that traditional EV battery pack is now officially dead weight. We will dissect exactly how taking the battery cells out of the box is pushing torsional rigidity past the 40,000 Newton-meters per degree, mark a metric previously reserved exclusively for carbon fiber track weapons. The Western automotive industry is facing an engineering deficit that cannot be solved with better software. This is a hardware revolution, and the foundation of the electric vehicle has permanently shifted. To comprehend the sheer magnitude of this engineering shift, we must first autopsy the obsolete standard that the West is still desperately clinging to. Historically, the architectural backbone of electric vehicles has been the CTM, or cell-to-module approach. Engineers take the raw chemical cells, group them into enclosed modules, wire those modules together, place them inside a massive, heavily armored steel or extruded aluminum casing, and finally, bolt that massive sarcophagus to the underside of the vehicle's unibody. From a pure physics and engineering standpoint, this methodology is a nightmare of parasitic mass. You are carrying hundreds of pounds of metal, brackets, bolts, and wiring harnesses whose singular purpose is to hold the components that actually power the car. This external casing contributes absolutely zero to the structural integrity of the vehicle's upper body. It is merely a passenger. In the event of a collision, or even during high-G cornering, the vehicle's chassis has to do all the work. It must absorb the kinetic energy, maintain suspension geometry, and simultaneously protect this massive, inert, highly volatile chemical box hanging off the bottom. The first evolutionary step was CTP, cell-to-pack, which eliminated the intermediate modules to save space. But what we are looking at in 2026, with platforms like BYD Z Platform, 3.0 Evo and Leapmotor's latest architectures, is the complete annihilation of the pack enclosure itself. In a true cell-to-chassis architecture, the top cover of the battery casing is entirely removed. The structural floor of the cabin, the actual metal plate that your seats are bolted onto, becomes the top seal of the battery matrix. The cells are no longer resting inside a box. They are aggressively bonded directly into the longitudinal and transverse structural beams of the car using aerospace-grade, high-strength structural adhesives. The parasitic mass is gone. The battery is no longer cargo. It has become the spine of the machine. When you eliminate the traditional pack and bond the cells directly into the chassis matrix, you are triggering a massive shift in vehicle dynamics. Let's break down the exact physics of this, because this is the precise battleground where legacy automakers are getting structurally outmaneuvered. When you take thousands of rigid cylindrical or tightly packed prismatic cells and bond them directly to the floorpan and frame rails, you are essentially mimicking aerospace honeycomb sandwich structures used in aircraft wings and spacecraft bulkheads. In a honeycomb panel, the core material isn't just taking up space to keep the outer skins separated. It actively resists shear forces and prevents the panel from buckling under immense pressure. By integrating the highly rigid battery cells as active, load-bearing components, the entire floorpan transitions from a flexible sheet of metal into a single, hyper-rigid monolithic block. This is exactly how we are suddenly seeing production family SUVs and sedans hitting torsional rigidity figures of 40,000 to 45,000 Newton-meters per degree. To put that into perspective, an average modern combustion engine sedan might hover around 20,000 Newton-meters per degree. Torsional rigidity dictates how much a vehicle's frame twists when subjected to asymmetrical loads, like entering a steep driveway at an angle or cornering aggressively. When a chassis flexes, the suspension geometry changes, the tire contact patch is compromised, and handling becomes unpredictable. By achieving 40,000 Newton-meters per degree, the CTC chassis simply does not twist. The frame remains absolutely static under extreme lateral G-forces. The dampers and control arms are forced to do 100% of the mechanical work, resulting in steering precision and chassis stability that rivals purpose-built race cars. The battery is no longer a detriment to handling due to its weight. Its physical structure is now the very reason the car handles so flawlessly. The implications of extreme torsional rigidity extend far beyond cornering dynamics. This brings us back to the physics breaking anomalies we discussed regarding the Xpeng G6 and the Zeekr mix. We must completely relearn our understanding of crash kinematics. In a standard EV architecture, when the vehicle sustains a severe side impact collision, the outer rocker panels, the B-pillar, and the floor cross members have to take the absolute brunt of the kinetic energy. Their primary job is to deform and absorb the crash force before it can penetrate the cabin, and crucially, before it can penetrate the battery pack and trigger a catastrophic chemical fire. The battery is the weakest link, a liability that requires heavy steel armor. In a cell-to-chassis architecture, this dynamic is inverted. The battery cells themselves act as the structural shield. Because these cells are bonded with structural resin that transfers mechanical loads seamlessly across the entire width of the vehicle. A side impact doesn't just hit a hollow frame rail or a crumple zone. The kinetic energy is violently distributed across thousands of ultra-dense, solid lithium cells and the high-tensile steel crossmembers separating them. Think of every single battery cell as a microstrut. When the side of the car is struck, the force is immediately dispersed through the adhesive matrix and into the adjacent cells, spreading the load across the entire floorpan of the vehicle. The path of force dissipation is multiplied exponentially. The sheer density of the bonded cell matrix acts as an almost impenetrable wall against lateral intrusion. This is why the crash test dummies inside these new architectures are registering unprecedented low levels of G-force trauma. The battery is no longer a vulnerability that requires external protection. The chemistry itself has been weaponized into armor, protecting the occupants by sheer unyielding mass. However, transforming an immensely powerful chemical energy storage system into a load-bearing unibody structure introduces a terrifying engineering paradox: the management of extreme thermal propagation. If your battery is literally the floor of the car, and the tops of the cells are mere millimeters beneath the carpet, how do you prevent a catastrophic thermal runaway event from instantly transferring 800 degrees Celsius of heat into the passenger cabin without a separate, heavy steel battery pack enclosure to act as a definitive firewall? The thermal management system must be absolutely flawless, with zero margin for failure. This is where Chinese engineering has shifted from passive thermal management to aggressive, Multi-layered active structural routing. In traditional battery packs, liquid cooling plates are usually slapped onto the bottom of the modules, hoping to draw heat downwards. In advanced CTC designs, the cooling system is the chassis itself. Engineers have developed dual-function structural beams extruded from aerospace-grade aluminum. These cross-members, which give the car its insane 40,000 Newton-meters of rigidity, are actually hollow. They serve as conduits, flowing dielectric cooling fluid directly between the tightly packed cell arrays. The vehicle's structural skeleton is the radiator. Furthermore, to prevent lateral heat transfer, where one failing cell ignites its neighbor in a chain reaction, they inject aerospace-grade aerogel insulation directly into the interstitial spaces between the cells. If a single cell is compromised and goes into thermal runaway, the aerogel acts as an impenetrable thermal barrier, containing the exothermic reaction. Simultaneously, the structural cooling beams act as a massive thermal sink, instantly drawing the extreme heat away from the compromised cell and rapidly dissipating it through the entire metal architecture of the car's floor frame. The thermal threat is neutralized and mathematically dissipated before it can ever reach the cabin floor plate. We must now address the most critical trade-off of this technological leap, the absolute nightmare scenario for forensic mechanics, collision centers, and the global insurance industry. We are talking about serviceability and the vehicle life cycle. When you eliminate the bolts, brackets, and external casings, and instead choose to weld and structurally glue thousands of battery cells directly into the vehicle's unibody matrix, you are crossing a definitive point of no return. You cannot simply put the car on a lift and drop the battery pack to replace a degraded module. There are no modules to replace. If the chassis suffers severe structural deformation in a high-speed collision, the battery matrix is inherently and structurally compromised. Conversely, if a deep-seated cluster of battery cells experiences an unrecoverable chemical failure, the chassis itself is effectively useless. This is the great engineering gamble of 2026. Western manufacturers have heavily resisted fully committing to true CTC architectures because it fundamentally alters the life cycle of the automobile, pushing it uncomfortably close to the paradigm of a sealed, consumable electronic device. A heavy crash no longer dictates pulling the frame on a rack. It mandates a total structural and chemical write-off. Yet, the raw engineering data coming out of the Chinese market proves that they have run the forensic calculations and made their choice. The volumetric efficiency gained by removing the external pack casing allows them to increase total battery capacity by up to 20% within the exact same physical footprint. The radical weight reduction drastically improves the kilowatt-hour per mile efficiency, enabling massive range without massive battery weight. The manufacturing process is violently streamlined, eliminating hundreds of individual parts and assembly steps, thereby drastically lowering the cost of production while simultaneously increasing structural rigidity. They are actively betting that extreme active safety systems, integrated LiDAR arrays, and predictive crash avoidance algorithms will make severe, frame-bending accidents statistically rare enough that the unrepairable nature of CTC becomes an acceptable margin of error. The era of the bolted-on battery pack is dead. We are no longer driving cars powered by batteries. We are driving batteries with wheels, and the engineering gap is widening by the second.